Well, good morning, and thank you for being here. This is really exciting. We just did, again, as Jeff commented on, Barcelona last week, and it's great to see the amount of energy. To tell you a little bit about yourselves, our audience is probably about half of you are either working with Alfresco inside of an organization or a developer, and about half of you are business sides of the house and here to learn more about how Alfresco might help you in your business. So a very diverse audience for us. We have some analysts and some press here as well, so super exciting for me to be able to spend some time with you. What I thought I'd do this morning is, I call myself the new guy still. I've not been to a DevCon or an Alfresco Summit. This is my first year. And so I thought I'd take a little bit of time to introduce myself to you, and then I would talk to you about a couple of the things that we're doing inside the organization. Because there's a diverse audience, I thought I'd also give you kind of an update on where Alfresco's at in terms of our size and where our direction is, where we see the market, and then I'll end with where we're spending our time these days. Been here 10 months. We put the organization through quite a bit of change in that amount of time, and we'll try to lay a foundation for all of you about where we're trying to take the company. So, for me, I tell people, my own team gets mad at me when I say this, I'm a 25-year networking guy. I worked for 11 years at 3Com Corporation. I was kind of the first rep in the state of California for them. And then I spent another 11 years at a place called Cisco Systems. And I went there at a pretty crazy time. I went in 1998. Cisco was about 14,000 people. It was right before in the middle of the boom, and for 2.5 years, Cisco hired 5,000 people every 90 days, and we went to 48,500 people in 2.5 years. So my little sales team went from 400 to 6,000 in that period of time. And then I was also there for the time when 2001 hit and that bubble burst, and we laid off 8,500 of those people. But I stayed in the role of running the United States sales organization in the enterprise for most of my career there. I was lucky enough the last 3 years, I made a suggestion to John Chambers that we go out and buy either Salesforce.com or WebEx. We actually looked at Salesforce first, but ended up buying WebEx. And post the acquisition of WebEx, John said, okay, Doug, here you go. You get to go run WebEx. So that's where I made my transition from the hardware guy into the software guy. And I spent 3 years running WebEx for Cisco as a standalone business entity inside of Cisco. I left and went to work for Mark Benioff for a short period of time, thinking I was going to be his number 2 guy. I kid Mark, I said, there is no number 2 at Salesforce, there's you and everybody else. And if you know Mark, that's not too far off the mark. And I ended up going to a company called SuccessFactors as the president of a human capital management company. I was there 20 months, and we got acquired by SAP for $3.4 billion. I had done the big company thing, and so I didn't want to stay inside of the SAP format. Great company, my team's, a lot of teams still there, they're doing really well. But I ended up coming here. I came here because I think this has got an incredible opportunity as a company in that in its past, it's been UK-based. Its founder, who you'll hear from today, a little later today, John Newton, knows more about this industry than anybody out there. He's built a company with the help of a gentleman named John Powell, who I've come in and replaced. A $60 million recurring business, kind of that nobody knew about, except for people in this room that know how great Alfresco's platform can be. It's a recurring business, so it's a recurring revenue business, which is great versus having to get new orders every 90 days. We kind of know where our revenue's coming from. We have approximately 300 employees now. They came and found me. I live in the Bay Area, and we've opened an office in the Bay Area, and we kind of look at it as another source of talent to bring into the organization. So we're in Maidenhead, we're in Atlanta, and we're in San Mateo, largely with some other scattered offices around the world. And we have lots of customers and a growing number of customers. So to me, it was this really nicely run company. It had $22 million in the bank, which I candidly didn't understand. And I said, why do you have so much money in the bank? You should be spending that money to grow. But they were conservative at the time, and so I'm spending their money. It's kind of fun. And I'll talk more about that. So the markets we serve are pretty interesting. Certainly what John and his team, I think, have done better than anybody in the world is they took their knowledge of having co-founded Documentum, founding Alfresco, and brought it to this new generation of platform is just the platform that you can buy from us or download through the community and use that and build applications on top using Java. The other big market for us would be workflow applications, and probably a place where we do that better than anybody in the market today, where people like you, our partners, and our end users in IT build applications on top of that headless platform. And then lastly, the space is collaboration, and we have built a product called Share, both on-premise and in the cloud, where it's a collaboration platform to collaborate around the use of that content and the creation of that content and the distribution of that content. And then the other market, which we don't play in very much ourselves today, is web content management. But between our relationship with Crafter and Acquia and Drupal, we do a lot of partnering together in this space out in the market. And others, by the way, but those are the two biggest relationships we have. And Gartner would tell you that this is a $4.7 billion market. So a substantial amount of room for growth for Alfresco in this market if we do the right things and kind of change the game, if you will, in terms of how people are interacting with content. More to come. We are already serving some very large markets, dominantly on-premise, and will continue to be largely on-premise. We do a very big portion of our business in the federal government today, both in civilian and DoD and NSA and lots of places inside the federal government. It's our biggest market. Our second biggest market is banking and insurance. And then we do a lot of things like manufacturing. I put kind of manufacturing and high tech in the same bucket, in all honesty, because we do well in both of those. And we have partners who have built applications that just focus on the media and publishing market, and they've done a very good job of capturing that market for us as well. So what you'll see us do on our platform side is to continue to build capabilities into the platform that let us penetrate these markets better. As an example, we're not 508 compliant today, and so one of the things about selling to the government in the United States, if you don't support 508 compliance, it limits you to where you can sell. So we're making our platform and our software 508 compliant so that we can support that end of the market. And this is going to drive our platform strategy. I think this Alfresco has been this quiet company that's been able to get quite large and hasn't really done a lot to tell the world who they are and who our customers are and where we play, and I intend to change that. We have an amazing group of people. I mean, IHG is here, Marriott's here. I can't even read from up here. That's how bad. LexisNexis is here. We had a bunch of Saks Fifth Avenue is here. We had a bunch of great customers yesterday in our first customer meeting where we're getting feedback from you on how we can do a better job of taking care of the things that you want us to do to help you and your businesses. And we're doing a lot with the culture inside of Alfresco to make sure that we're here, and we know the reason we're here is because all of you, and we need to make all of you wildly happy with what we do. So there's a lot of focus on that right now. I'm probably the most excited in the last 10 months to have built what I think is just a world-class team of people. Many of them are here and in the audience, and the reason I'm excited about these folks, a couple things. The culture I'm trying to build is pretty interesting. I worked for Benioff for a while, and then a guy named Lars Dalgaard, another big personality guy. And I'm trying to build a team of people that are really transparent, really collaborative, and we just want to do well together in non-political environment. And so I've created a bunch of great skills in this team that have the things that we need in order to be successful in the market. I happen to believe that the company with the best team always wins, and so I'm trying to build the best team. So I'm super excited and want to let you know how excited we are around the talent we've been able to attract to Alfresco and the belief they have in the markets we're going to go serve. So let me talk about that briefly. This is brand new, kind of launching it to you. We just launched this in Barcelona last week. I don't think we've, in the past, had a clear definition for you to quickly know who Alfresco is and what it is that we do. And the notion here is we're simple and smart. And the notion is simple because end users just get how elegant our software is, and they can just use it, but lots of smarts underneath in order to make that elegant thing happen. And it's a unique thing for us. The other thing about smart and simple, if you think about Alfresco's differentiation in the marketplace from anybody else, is we have this notion of both on-prem and in cloud. And if you think about the market today, there's a large contingent of the old world, been around for a very long time, companies that were developed by people that are doing it in other companies today, that IT organizations have been using for a long time, and users don't necessarily love the experience with the software, and it's all on-prem. And then there's the new entrants in the market that are consumer side oriented, in the cloud only, don't believe anything on-prem is of any value, everything's going to be in the cloud, but they give you an incredible experience for file share and sync. We kind of believe there's a market for both. And the notion here is we will build software in the cloud that does all the things that you're doing in the cloud today. We'll allow you to keep those kinds of applications on-prem that you want to keep on-prem today because there's assets there that you don't want to put in the cloud, and that's well understood. And we call that the 20-60-20 rule. And we are trying to teach our partners and our own people that this is the market we serve differently than anybody else. I think about SuccessFactors, where I just said I came from. We didn't have an on-premise data center for what we served ourselves. Yes, we had our application we served to the market, but then we used NetSuite for finances and Concur for expenses, and everything we did was in the cloud. And then there's people like the federal government who will always be on-prem and never be in the cloud. We do a very good job there today. And what we're really spending a lot of engineering time on, and John Newton will talk more about this, is the ability for you as an organization to be able to have content go up into the cloud and have it be synced back to on-prem. So IT is always happy with the fact that they have a copy of that content versus if you're just cloud and you take content to the cloud and then you leave your organization, excuse me, you don't know what content's gone to the cloud. With us, we were IT friendly. I will tell you, having sold IT now, I think most of my career, when I started selling to IT, the CIO didn't exist. And it was the guys in the basement, and they got about 1.5% to spend. And nobody wanted to go down there because they didn't know how to talk to those people. Well, now they're sitting inside the seat next to the CEO, and they spend 6 to 11% of spend in most companies. And they're differentiating one company versus the other. We give you a chance to give that elegant experience to the end user as IT, but make you happy because we're keeping you compliant on the things you need to be compliant about. So you'll start to see this imagery show up in everything we do on the website, our business cards, our PowerPoint presentations. It's going to be who we want to talk about. If you noticed, even in the presentation, the word simple is simple type, and the word smart is even a little more sophisticated type. That's on purpose. Okay, so we're simple plus smart. I hope you get to like that as much as we have internally. What are we going to focus on in the next 12 months? Bunches of different things, with the addition of one of my executives, a guy named Paul St. John. Maybe, Paul, you can just stand up because I mentioned your name and wave. You'll see him in a little bit. Paul comes to us as an ex-Documentum sales guy, early days in the U.S., ended up selling some of the larger deals here, ended up moving to Europe, lived in Europe for the last 9 years, is now running worldwide sales for us. And he's been able to attract many of the people he's done business with in the past to come to Alfresco. And they're learning they can go back into some of the installed base they have gone into, sold previously, and say, I have an opportunity for you to get your users to a better experience and do that for you a little bit less expensively and get you to the next generation platform. And there's a real interest in the marketplace for people to move from old to new. And so we're going to continue to go down that path and try to create that market. The second is we need to continue to invest in our partners through lead generation. We haven't been very good about that in the past. We have upgraded tools that allow us now to do a much better job of flowing leads out to our partners. We're going to, as I said, invest some of that money that we have in the bank, and we are investing that money in the bank in terms of adding really in 2 places, to build products for you that are applications, and to add salespeople around the world and services people so that we have a broader ability to generate new business for the company and be in those places where the business exists for us. We aren't very invested today in services. At least WebEx, Salesforce, and SuccessFactors all generate between 16% and 50% of their revenues from services. We generate 5% today. I want us to be a little more involved in the implementation of our services so that you have a better experience or the best experience you could possibly have with us. So I do want to grow that a bit over the next few years. And then the next one's really exciting to me. So I am a bit of a SaaS guy because I believe in SaaS. I wanted to go to a SaaS company. And why I think SaaS companies are doing so well against on-premise companies is the pace of innovation. If you think about an on-premise application, they get updated maybe every 2 to 3 years. You have to build a year-long or year-2 plan to implement that change inside of an organization. When you buy an application in the cloud, we update our software between 4 and 5 times a year in terms of true innovation being brought into the product. And so if you roll the enterprise clock forward 10 years, you're maybe going to get 2 releases of on-premise capabilities. You're going to get 20 to 40 new capabilities of releases in the cloud. And so the other big difference to me is and I'm a true believer of this, is that you build cloud applications for end users and you don't build them for IT. I love IT. I've been selling the IT for a long time, but IT should be focused on making sure they have the tools you need in order to make a good car or a good air conditioner or a good router, not necessarily good software for end users. And so we're going to focus on building applications in the cloud. We went out to you. We've asked you what applications you use the most from us. And we have started to put a team of people in central London that are all new hires and combine their ability to build wonderfully intuitive, gorgeous software with the expertise that exists in the company around enterprise content management. I tell people I'm putting them in a linear accelerator. I'm smashing them together. And what I hope comes out the other end is just an elegant software for end users and compliant to IT. And so that's under construction. And then lastly, really is trying to elevate Alfresco as a name in the market, that people understand what we do differently than anybody else in the market. And so you'll see me out there, you'll see many of us out there, and our partners as well, talking about what we do differently than the kind of the new world guys and the old world guys, and why you might want to consider us in the future. Okay, so that's just a brief overview of where things are at and what we're doing. If I haven't met you, please come up and introduce yourself to me in the next couple of days while you're here, and let me know what we're doing well, and let me know what we should be focused on and do a better job before you, okay? Thank you. Appreciate it.